Of course, in an ideal world, we would have music as a huge part of life. As much as, say, studying mathematics, we would study as much of music and dance. And this would bring much more harmony to the world, because we have the balance between the logic and and the absolute intuition of the feminine knowing of the body, because she knows that she's love from within. She knows she's lovable and she loves herself. This is the healing of that. I'm home, and there's so much love here in this home inside my body. That's been the devotion of pioneering this feminine movement since the early 90s.
And once we will talk about jewelry, can you tell us girls something? Окей, друзья, всем привет! И я рада вас приветствовать на 7-й серии, на 7-м эпизоде подкаста «Выход из матрицы». И сегодня надо попробовать другое, превью, потому что я всегда говорю, мой гость особенный, но сегодня первая женщина-гость в моем пространстве. Это такая особенная душа. И это такое благословение, что она нашла время и поделится с нами очень особенными секретами своей души. I'm so blessed that you find the time and you came to us. So because I have followers and it is women, they I'm therapist, so I have a lot of women on my social media. So we often discuss some things, some very healthy tools for us to recover, to rebirth, and in a different situation. So I'm your fan. I'm absolutely a fan of what you do on the stage.
Спасибо.
But I couldn't buy the ticket. What is going on? I couldn't buy the ticket in Moscow. We don't have any opportunity to go in Moscow to your concert because I found a lot of cities, but I didn't find the Moscow. Why?
Well, actually, we were in Moscow in April of this year, and we had a big show then. And so then we take this show now out into the regions.
Okay, your next concert in Moscow will be?
Not until next year now.
Next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for what you do for us. I think a lot of women want to tell thank you for this absolutely healing energy which you give in us, where we don't have opportunity to go to therapist or but we just turn on the YouTube or something and we healing ourselves with your voice. I think a lot of women will, with me, tell you thank you. Tell me, please, how you started, how you find yourself in this way.
You mean as a singer that's working on a different vibration to a normal singer? Is that what you mean specifically?
Yeah.
Because this way is a big way.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need specifics.
For the beginning, how you find your special way to sing, to heal us?
I think it began, like the first feeling for it was when I first switched on my singing voice. I was 17.
Wow.
And I had no training at that stage. But I had a vision at this time. And a more mature woman who I lived with at the time said to me, what if you could do anything with your voice? Like, if you actually did get to sing. Because imagine, it's all just first lessons, new teacher, crying in my classes, like my soul's crying because I'm like, oh, finally I get to sing. Because when I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was sing. That was like my absolute biggest dream. So by 17, my mother had crashed my dream, told me, it's not your talent, it will never happen.
Wow.
So when I left her fields and moved out away from my mother, and I had this reflection of a more open woman, a more mature woman, she said, no, you have this gift, you have that. All I needed was somebody to give me permission. And then she said a very important thing, and this is where it's really important. yourself dream. And what would your dream be? And I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I said, if I could sing, because it still seems like some big dream that's not real. If I could sing, I would sing not just for entertainment, but for healing.
Yes.
And I would sing for millions of people all over the world to help to heal them. It was a long journey to fulfill that, because first of all, I had to learn how to sing, right? I had to learn how to train my voice. The voice was naturally there, but natural voice and trained voice is a different thing. It takes discipline, daily practice, etc. Well, by the biggest blessing and miracle of life, when I was 18, I was accepted into conservatorium as a jazz singer. But that didn't switch on that energy yet. But what it did give me was fundamentals, root, ability to be able to breathe, to be able to interpret lyric, to be able to have the skills to be able to compose, etc. So that was like root training. And I nearly went down that chasm. It was like a big chasm because my ego got sucked into it. And I thought, okay, I've got to be better. I've got to be more. I've got to be equal to the guys who are much cooler and get a lot more recognition than me as a woman. And I went down the road of being the sexy jazz singer for about 5 years until I was 23. And that's when something woke up in me. This energy that we're talking about, it was as though I felt as though I was cutting my own wrists by singing jazz by this stage, as if I was completely lost to my pathway, because my soul at a very young age had recognized what it was here to do.
Yes.
But living it, it's like we get distracted by ambitions that seem so valid and so real and so important when you start to get recognition and a little bit of fame or money or anything, and I had to come off that pathway and ask a real question. Why am I not happy here? Why am I so lost here? And asking that question without going into the story of it is what woke that up. And that I was off my path, and I fell into this state of communion with the earth at this moment in my life, on the edge of a mountain, where I'm asking this question, like, why should I be here? Why am I so unhappy? And this is when the gift first actually really woke up in me. It was like the vibration of the earth started to move through my body, through the elements around me, the water, the wind. And through voicing this, allowing myself to get out of my head, out of my trainings, and let my emotional body just sing with this release, this deep, traumatic, woman who had been trying. When I started to release all of that pain with that voice, that's actually when the gift started to wake up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then it was the question, okay, I've touched it, and it's so powerful, but how do I learn more about it? What can I possibly, who can I turn to train me deeper, because in my mind, I'd done musical training, theoretical training through jazz. So who could teach me this deeper way? There must be somebody. I looked to the Aboriginal people in my country. I looked to South American people. I looked to different traditions. And I understood that nobody was going to teach me, And it wasn't until, I think it was a couple of weeks right after this recognition, because it all happened very fast when it happened, a Native American medicine man came to Australia on tour.
Yes.
And he was the one that said to me, you're coming to me because I've seen you're coming to me. This is a vision, and you are the singing woman, and you have called me, and I've called you, and we fit together. I mean, it took a lot to accept that, really. It came with a lot of hooks. to be with a spiritual man teacher.
Yes.
It came with a lot of hooks that I didn't want to follow. But at the same time, my calling to follow this voice of healing and to learn how to embody this energy was much bigger than the compromises or the hooks that it meant, like giving up my entire life, giving up my entire career, giving up my country, my home, everything to step on that path, you know, and to follow him into the desert in New Mexico in America. And learn to actually just sit still on the earth and listen to the nature directly. Because one of the things which I appreciate now, but I hated him for it at the time, was he said, I'm not going to teach you this. The mother herself will teach you this. Sit there and pray, you know.
What age you was? In which age?
I was 24.
24. Was somebody next to you who support you in this journey, or you were alone?
I was very alone at this time. I would say he was a very powerful man, and he loved me a lot, you know. So he was my, my strength, and he was also my destroyer. Like, he just kept cutting away at my layers, and he was merciless because he was a special forces trained and native trained. So the way he taught as a man was very, very strong. And I was always asking the question, but how can I understand this as a woman? I've got a woman's body. Like, your way is not my way. And he said, go to the mother yourself. You know, learn to listen, ask the questions, you know. And this went on for some years, you know, this journey. And so the knowledge that I carry and the vibration that comes through the voice is direct. It's straight from the source, you know. It hasn't been tempered by a lot of traditions or knowledge outside. It's been like, learn to be patient, do your self-healing, you know, strip the layers of your ego away. And that's when it, you know, the more I surrendered to that, and it was a very difficult journey, but the more I surrendered to it, the more the energy started to open up and open up and open up. And it wanted to take on form, just like I was in ceremonies a lot at this time. And so I was intuitively like crossing into the void, like into the blackness, because these ceremonies are a little bit like the Slavic Black Banya, where you're going in and you're going into heavy sweating process, deprivational processes, you know, cleaning processes. And when you cross out of your mind totally, and you're crossing into the absolute unknown, into the mystery where everything's possible, I started to pull vibrations from there and I started to help people inside those ceremonies, to help them with their own healing, help them switch on their own voice, you know, and that's how it all began for me.
Wow. Which advice you can give to a woman in a big city who has no opportunity to go to therapist, but she is in a difficult situation, maybe in her family, maybe in abuse situation or something? Maybe you can give the advice or exercise how she in a moment can bring to herself her own power to say stop, to say no, to say I don't want it, to say I have my own vision, how to live.
I think what you asked for is a very magical pill. Because a woman...
Don't you have it?
A woman in this state is layered.
Yes.
She has so much conditioning in her internal voice is not her own. So she's cutting away at herself with almost every thought she has. She's giving her power away with many, many of her actions, right? And so one of the first things we have to do is help her return to her own body.
Yes.
And a very simple way to do that is just to put your hand on your heart. Take a breath from deep in your belly and just feel the heat, the warmth, or some sensation of the heart. And let the stress and the tension and the disempowerment go from the throat. And just by using your voice, because your voice is the most direct key to bring you inside your own body. Because a woman who is giving her power away, who is unhappy, is in a lot of mental negative thoughts, she's not in her body. She's like up in her head, and she's walking around like with just a tiny part of her consciousness awake. It's her head, her heart hurts, there's a lot of pain in the emotional body, you know, and we want to switch that connection back on. So her voice is the most direct, quick way, rooted breath as well. So when she breathes in through her nose, and you could do it with me right now.
Yeah, okay.
Because
We're ready.
it's direct, you know, it's like only when we do things directly, not as a concept, but directly, can we actually start to have a result. So you put your right hand on your heart center, and if you can, skin on skin's good. And you can even put your left on your belly, because this helps to see if you're actually breathing at all down in your lower belly. Take a breath in through the nose. Feel your belly, if you can, expand. And let the tongue drop down to the bottom of the throat. We're going to say the vibration, ah. So breathing in. Ah. And the first time you do it, you may not trust your voice. You know, it might be just, ah. You know, just the very light kind of sound. But the more you start to trust your own feeling, can you feel the sensation in your chest?
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking for, to feel the vibration in it, because that's what helps you to come into your body, to actually feel your own vibration. So I think we need to do it again. This time, let's catch the vibration in the chest. This is your voice, and only your voice can change your life.
Absolutely, yes.
By you speaking from this place. So one more time, breathing in, expand the lower belly, drop the tongue, mouth open. Feeling that sensation, the warmth in the chest. That's the first step. Yes. That's just to switch on the connection to your body, because really women are so unkind, so critical, so cruel to their own body throughout the day. And their body needs so much love and touch and care, you know.
Hug yourself.
Yeah, but just this because you can't hug yourself in public, you know. It's not real. But you can just put your hand on your heart. You're on the train, and you can just, you may not be able to sound loudly, no, but you can. Everybody's watching their telephone. Who cares? Yeah. You know, nobody's taking any notice of you. But this is the first connection to switching on her feeling of her own vibration of her voice. I've just launched an amazing course online called Claim Your Voice, Claim Your Life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we've just had 1,200 women go through this, and we're just about to release it to all of Russia and beyond, into the English-speaking world. And this course helps a woman not just to switch on that connection, but to let go of the tight block around her throat, that collar or that discomfort, you know, we have when we're not speaking the truth, or our knowing, speaking from our knowing. It helps her to open up her deep belly breathing, and she does some wonderful practices to open the diaphragm and then get her breath rooted right down in her pelvic floor, so that all the diaphragms in her body start working. This is magic, because then her womb starts to breathe, her kidneys start to get life force, you know, and she starts to feel the connection between her voice and her deeper feminine nature, which is in her root, which is her pelvic floor, which is her sexual energy, you know, and it starts to actually, her voice then starts to vibrate through her whole body. She starts to feel, right, I feel me in my body speaking. Now, a woman who starts to feel this starts to reorient the way she's speaking and how people speak to her. And then they also go through a process to learn who's speaking in their head that is not them, but all the past conditioning and the pain of their mother said, her father said, the past husband said, you know, best friend said, all those things, those loops that are stuck inside that she thinks are her voice, but are not her voice. So she has to learn how to clean that out and restructure herself. It's an amazing journey, and every woman can go through that, and she will be a very different woman. She'll start to feel, this is my own voice. This is me.
It's beautiful. Can we discuss some moment about young girls who has the problem in their families when mother, like, she wants to sing. She wants to sing. She's singing. She see the life through the music, through the beats, through the rhythm. But she always like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I can hear it. I can hear you. You will not be a singer. You have no talent. A lot of girls and moms together I have in therapy, and we discussed. And so, for example, I was the girl who was singing from the childhood. Like my grandmother gave me this talent, and I was singing Armenian songs on the chair. So, and they all crying. And so in that moment in my childhood, I fixed that. Wow, I do something with their souls, because when I am on the chair, all the people like 80 and 90 years old, they are crying. So something I have inside of me that touched, and in that moment I took the voice like my own instrument. And when I had biggest problem, like person, like a small person, then bigger. So I used this instrument and heal myself with the singing. I wrote the song. I was hip-hop singer in Russia, famous young girl. Then music changed and the style changed, and I wrote for another singer. So it was music always with me. But what I see around myself, I see a lot of strange situation when mothers, like, they cut. They cut their daughters' women voices. Energy, and they don't understand what they do. They make their daughters sick people, sick little women, who become very aggressive without music in their life. Maybe you can give some advice to this woman and to explain what they do when they stop this process.
Absolutely. It's such a deep wound. We have such a potential to literally close down not only our daughter's voices, but with it we also close down her natural relationship to her body, her sexuality, that will grow later, of course, but depending on the age of the girl. But if we start young suppressing the girls, they become good girls. They become nice girls, and they fixate on needing love rather than being themselves. They fixate on being good and nice and kind. They switch off their own inner voice. If you switch off the singing voice, you switch off also the recognition of the one who knows inside. Because when we sing, we connect to a bigger field of energy. We connect to that deep feminine principle. Like me, when I was on the side of the mountain, what did I connect to? That feminine principle rising through my body. We do it when we sing. We do it when we truly let the body dance. And that's another thing. A lot of mothers will also stop their daughters from dancing wildly. Because it's also when we dance wildly, when we sing, we switch on that connection to that bigger, nourishing feminine. It's so natural.
So healing.
And so healing. It's so attuning. It gives us a way to release our frustration, our emotions. And girls also carry the emotions of their mothers, because your daughter is in your field. And so if you haven't dealt with your own pain as a mother, your daughter, she mimics it, she carries it on, and when she sings, she can release it she has no idea what she's doing. It's totally on an intuitive level. But if you cut her voice, then she carries it, boxes it up inside, and she's destined to carry out the same way of relating to the world as the mother. Yes. She'll either go either way, like in total rebellion against the mother and become a bad girl, and tries to move against the mother. Or she goes the other way and becomes a good girl to please her mother, to get her love, or her father, And this is an epidemic. It's a disease inside of woman's expression. It's not just in the Russian-speaking world. It's everywhere, Girls must sing. Mothers must sing. Absolutely. And that's what I'm seeing inside claim your voice, claim your power. That as women are starting to sing again in their home, the daughters are starting to also sing, and they're also starting to make these primal sounds that the women learn in the practice. I think many of us, when we were little, we get squashed because maybe the choir master says, maybe the teacher says, don't sing so loudly, you don't sound good. Yes. And they'll say to another girl, oh, you sound, yes, you'll be the lead here. And this girl who doesn't get that acknowledgement, she stops singing for the rest of her life, And so it's not just mothers, but influential people on a girl can, and of course it happens to boys too, but on a girl can completely shut her voice down. And she has lost access now to her deeper connection to her big feminine knowing. Her inner voice, her outer voice is suppressed. And of course, it goes down the line, like literally down through the body. Eventually the root closes, the sexual energy closes. And this feeling of freedom and this is me and that wildness, finished. It's just finished. She's living now in a much more mental world, trying to cope with it. So we have a huge responsibility, I think, as mothers, to reclaim our own voice, like to learn how to switch on our own singing voice, speaking voice, because they actually feed one another, and then encourage that in our daughters. If we just did this one thing in our life, our world would start to manifest very differently on this planet.
Absolutely. If all presidents could just sing when they meet, our world will be so beautiful. Okay, that's beautiful. What do you think about potential of music in medicine?
You mean vibrational healing in medicine, like through sound?
Vibration, sound, the music, the classical music, the drums. One moment, you have a beautiful guitar player. That's my friend, Max Homich. Say hi him for me. So he also, we're like from our childhood, we were born in music and we grew up in music. So what do you think about the potential of home music for the world if we would more listen, more singing, more dancing in schools, everywhere, in organization, different offices, during the working day, if people could just dance maybe in the in office, do we have any potential to be more kinder to each other?
I mean, of course, music should be a huge part of our life, really. And I love that we're including many different types of music here. Like if I want to have a very elevated experience as a listener, I will go and listen to Tchaikovsky or Prokofiev or Mozart or somebody, and I will go to live, me and my husband will go to live orchestra. And this is something we absolutely love to do as an outing. We don't go to, say, disco, but we go to something that's very high vibrational, and that's one aspect of the music. Yes. But if we compare that to another vibration, like, for example, heavy metal. Heavy metal is very, very harsh vibrations for the body. And the themes of the songs are very dark. They're all verging on, evil almost, and so we see something that's anti-life. Some people love it because they don't have permission to express their anger and their rage. So it's a very expressive rage music. But if you do a lot of it, it will bring the frequency of your energetical field. We live inside our own cocoon, our own field. And so music has the power to both heal and also be destructive to the body. For me, I have devoted, so much of my own exploration with voice because I recognize that voice is one of the most direct healing vibrations. When somebody like myself has realized the nature of love, the nature of unity, of wholeness, of the balance between he and she, and how to transmit that through the voice, it's very, very direct and it's instant. It's like women in my concerts, for example, will start to feel their womb vibrating, or their heart just opening and tears flowing and goosebumps happening. And this is when the soul is now in communion with the body. And that's what very powerful music can do, is rebuild the vibrational bridge between the soul and the body. I mean, we understand now through science that the cells themselves actually make their own vibration, their own music inside the body. But we don't feel that. So when we hear powerful or good music, it starts to re-harmonize the body itself. Of course, in an ideal world, we would have music as a huge part of life. As much as, say, studying mathematics, we would study as much of music and dance. And this would bring much more harmony to the world because we have the balance between the logic and and the absolute intuition of the feminine knowing of the body in men or women. When men dance, it's amazing. They feel so much happier. They feel so much freer, and obviously for women that goes without saying. So, but, to bring that kind of balance, we work, we work daily to try and bring this more, into the world. But that's definitely been the inspiration for me, is how can I create music that switches on that connection to your inner cosmos, your inner feeling and sensation. Music that brings you into your body, not just stirs up your emotions, not just makes you cry, but actually makes your body goosebumps, actually makes your body go, feel this enormous space inside, this feeling of like, I'm home, and there's so much love here in this home inside my body. That's been the devotion of my music, and I come at it from every different angle. So for me, like, different styles of music are like paint colors, on a paint palette, because I work with like jazz, I work with pop, I work with soul, I work with Indian classical, I work with chill out, even some hip hop, some things, but and classical, with the strings. I often work with orchestra as well. So for me, all these threads, all these different vibrational approaches or expressions of music, they can be woven into the tapestry of a song with intention. And I think so much of the music created these days, people don't understand what intention they're trying to create. They're just following a trend to try and make somebody feel, oh, I'm so sad because I lost my boyfriend, or I just want to have sex. I want to have sex with you. You're so sexy. I want to have sex. I want to have sex. I want to have sex with you. This kind
Something from my childhood.
It's like it's intentions that are very, very shallow. So I think as musicians or creators or poets or And I do love that tradition in Russia where the spoken word is very, very important. To me, that's part of music as well. The rhythm of, the spoken word, the way the lyric is put together, that's a deep tradition in all Slavic countries, I would say. And that's music as well. How the word is crafted from direct experience of life. So yes, I agree. It's an ideal, what you're speaking about, that the world would change if this happened again. All I can do is fulfill my love of that, and step by step, day by day, keep serving it, and
Thank you.
And more people to follow, bring it into your daily life. I think that's the important thing, is dance every day, listen to music every day. For me, I created an inner world where people can just put their headphones in, and wherever they are, they can either switch on practice with my voice where I'm singing, or they can switch on the music, and they'll be taken into this state inside. So we can bring so much music into our daily life.
Yes, absolutely sure, and absolutely thank you for these words, for important thoughts.
Yeah, I think, Knары, for me, I really wanted to find that place, both as the creators of the music and the creators of the practices, because I've been creating now practices for about 25 years for women, and I eventually found this marriage where music and helping a woman to return to her body, helping her to switch on her own voice, where those two worlds meet in the practice. So I've created many 15-minute meditations where I've created these supersonic soundtracks where I'm using my voice to switch on her body, all her centers,
If somebody will buy your course, she will find there. Am I right?
Exactly. Okay. So every course has some meditation practices like this inside them, and that's what they can just put on daily, and for example, before I came on this interview with you, I had 10 minutes free. So I had my headphones in, and I have one course called Меня достаточно, I'm enough, feminine confidence. And in this course, a woman learns how to take herself from that self-doubt and negativity into I'm enough, Меня достаточно, And in this practice I've created, we see the merging of the two worlds that I've moved in. We have a beautiful soundtrack where she's doing a practice to open her heart. And the feeling of this soundtrack is that love loves you. Love loves you.
That's beautiful.
Because we're always looking for love outside, right? But inside, this, as she's opening up her heart, and it's a physical practice as well as, like, most of my meditations are not just sit. They're actually active practices to help her switch on the sensitivity in her body. So she feels, not just conceptually, but her heart physically opening. It starts to become bigger and bigger and brighter and brighter. Or she feels a connection to her womb getting brighter. Or she feels the power in her pelvic floor as we start to activate it with breath and her voice. And so in 15 minutes, you go from this state of being a bit stressed or busy or arriving somewhere, and then this feeling inside where my voice, my spoken word, my singing voice and your voice meet, and there's a sensation of I'm enough. Wow, there's so much love inside of me. I have 24 courses, so I have a world of women's problems that I personally have navigated through, transformed in myself, taken that direct experience, that knowledge, that exploration, both inside myself and 30 years of being in the practice room with women, because I've been running workshops around the globe for that long. And all of that work gets put inside of every course, but on specific topics. Like if you have a lot of guilt, you have often closure in your solar plexus.
It's a huge problem.
You lie to yourself. You hide the things you don't want to see about yourself or the compromises you've made, you know. And just within maybe a week of working on that course, that guilt starts to be seen, released through the body. She starts to forgive herself. And at every step of the way, there's special soundtracks that are switching on those centers in her body, and that release and that opening and that new energy that she can trust herself again, you know.
We will buy it. Girls, we will buy it.
Yeah, so there's a whole series of emotional cleansing, anger, grief, guilt, you know. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What do you think about the idea, which is very popular in a woman's community? This is like, I'm not worthy. That idea, like through the 1,000 years from grandmothers and grandmothers, and I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. And they like, a lot of women like they don't feel anything inside itself, any power, any happiness. They searching it outside, like they trying to find the relationship, but the relationship can come while you are empty. Nobody wants to touch some empty women. Like, how to explain woman? Maybe let's try. Let's give us to understand. Let's give us opportunity to understand how to find the idea I am worthy.
Well, it's a constant internal thought. I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, I won't succeed, etc. And it's very, very hard to change that if you do not get guided into your inner world to see how did that get there, right? Because it's not who you are, and it's not who your mother was, and it's not who your grandmother was, and it's not who your great.
Yes.
But we all carry the sickness of I'm not worthy. So we must be guided in to see how did it get there, because we each have our own particular thread of words that were given to us from our mothers and their mothers, etc., etc. So we have to find inside ourselves what was that consistent thought put inside your body, you know, since a little girl. Like we touched on the singer who's not allowed, you know. And when you switch off your feminine energy or your access to it, then you switch off this feeling of wholeness. And if we don't have wholeness, then we are not enough.
Yes.
And not enough means I'm not worthy. You know, it's very possible to switch that back on again. It's absolutely, and it doesn't take a lot. And that really is the foundation of my work, you know.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, I could tell you a long story of how to take a woman there, or she can just simply go to my website and find this feeling, and she will have it from different angles. Some women feel it through self-doubt, right? And some women feel it because they're sexually closed.
Yes.
You know, they have a big trauma inside, or they have a consistency of relationship. Or some women will approach it through, I can't find a man. Right? I'm not worthy, I can't find a man. Or some women will approach it, I'm with a man and I really don't feel worthy. Right? So it doesn't matter which way.
Yes.
Every woman has a way in which her life is manifesting her feeling of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. So for example, you mentioned about a woman who's on her own, and that a man would not want to be with her if she's empty.
Yes.
It's actually not true. What happens is she draws to herself a man who is also empty.
Oh yeah.
You know, she will
That's
draw the mirror of the man to herself. So what's going on deeply that's been denied inside of herself, he will then manifest it. And you'll manifest somebody who it's not really love between you.
Yes.
It's a mirror of your pain body. All you he's carrying the same
trauma and trauma. Yes.
And you're kind of destined to have this very shallow or often painful feeling of lack in your relationship, lack of connection, lack of love, you know. All of that can be healed, you know, but like, for example, there's a golden window when a woman is on her own. This is the time to really work on healing herself from her past men. So I have one course called Letting Go of a Past Love. And it's all about letting go of all that pain that manifested a relationship and dealing with all of her different aspects, her anger, her grief, her disappointment, her loss, you know, and her longing, and clean it out of her. When a woman cleans this out of her, and she starts to switch on this flow of love inside, because that's the only thing that can heal I'm not worthy, I'm not not enough, is when she learns how to switch on her own flow of love in her body, because love is the great healer. So the feeling that I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, comes because she doesn't love. She doesn't love herself, and she doesn't feel love in her own body. And this is the most natural state for a woman, is to feel love in her body. But not many women do really feel that. And that's, again, what the body of my work is about, switching back on that flow of love. So if you feel like you don't love yourself, it's very... It's something that you can say to yourself, do I want to love myself, you know? Do I want to do the self-healing? And if your body says, yes, I do, you know, then there's a whole body of work there for you to go. If you're in letting go of a man from the past, or you're alone, you can go through that course. But maybe you want to find a new man in your life, but you want to do it consciously this time, from the place of I'm enough and I'm worthy of love. So there's a very special course there to help her to get ready for true love. And that means switching on what? True love in herself, you know? So every which way that a woman works with me, it doesn't matter where she comes from, whether she's healing rape, whether she's healing her connection to man, whether she's healing connection to her mother or her father, that there is a way for her to be able to switch that flow of love back on it. And when she switches it back on again, these feelings just start to get less and less and less and less, because she knows that she's love from within. She knows she's lovable, and she loves herself. This is the healing of that circle. And it's very much through the body. We can't just do it psychologically. Yes. Because just psychologically doesn't address the body. The body is the great intelligence, and it remembers all your pain. You know, it remembers it and it locks and blocks it down in the body. So we've got to give a way for you to be able to release that pain. And actually, coming back to the first thought, it's your voice that gives you the way to be able to release the pain, the deep blockages, the collar in the throat, the sickness in the maybe matka, wherever it is, you know.
Great, thank you. Maybe we have not enough time. I think a few minutes. Maybe you want to invite on your concert our girls, or
when are you airing the show?
I think before you will start, like 2 days, maybe 5th. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. To announce my concert tour, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, beautiful women, there is an amazing possibility to meet you within Russia as I open up my autumn concert tour, and we begin in Nizhny Novgorod, and this is Golos и Kosmos. It's a meditation concert, so they both get celebrated as women. Actually, this is for men as well, and then they get taken into experience their own home, their own inner cosmos in the body. And that's in Nizhny Novgorod on the 9th October. Then we go on with a different program through the regions, and this is Zoltvolchice. And this is a wild dance kind of style of concert. It's
Zoltvolchice.
Zoltvolchice. So it's to help a woman come in. She doesn't need to be a good girl. She doesn't need to be nice. She's actually dancing.
To feel a little wilder.
To feel a bit wilder, you know. And there'll be little elements of practice in there to help let go of her fear and get her dancing and singing with me. And
how many cities will you take in this time?
This time it will be Kazan. Then Ufa, Kazan, Chelyabinsk, Yekaterinburg.
Wow.
So
if you are in Moscow, it can be a great adventure. Take your girlfriends with her and go to Kazan to have a party.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's
So
something
maybe
beautiful.
I will come.
Please
I don't
be our
want
guest.
to wait
Please be
next
our guest.
year.
Absolutely. And then the concert goes on to Minsk.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about Меня достаточно, right?
Yeah.
I'm enough. That concert program is something very unique too, in that it is a program both of music and some practice elements, and it's all focused, it's a woman's only concert. And that one is all focused towards her coming out of that concert hall feeling like, I'm enough. Her body opening up and letting go of, you know, that feeling of unworthiness and actually being in a field of loving and supportive women as I sing, you know, you into your body and you sing with me. Меня достаточно, меня достаточно, я питаю себя добротой, я питаю себя любовью. And if you like that song, just rewind again and learn it.
It will be my mantra.
It's a mantra for women. I wrote for women.
Меня достаточно.
Меня достаточно.
I'm enough. That's a great idea.
And then the tour goes on to Kazakhstan.
Wow,
in
Kazakhstan.
Nobre.
I have a lot of friends there.
Almaty and Astana. And that program is Goles i Kosmos.
Wow.
Yes.
Great. I wish you a beautiful concert. I will come, I promise. You will hear that. So please be our guest. Maybe after a few years, give me a promise that you will come again, and I will go to your practice. I want to try it. I'm absolutely a fan, so I really didn't try it yet. So I will.
Wonderful. I think many women who know me as a singer don't understand the depth of the practice that's there for them, you know. So it's beautiful to go and explore that world, because I would say that I'm a very rare teacher on the planet, in that I've been pioneering this feminine movement since the early 90s.
And once we will talk about jewelry, can you can you tell us girls some secret about your jewelry, about the stones?
Yeah, I love stones. I think most women love stones.
Yes.
This one I'm wearing right now is Luna. It's
Luna?
a moonstone. Yeah, it's a set of Luna
That's the name
stones.
of the stone, Luna?
Moonstone.
Moon. Okay.
Moonstones.
Moonstone.
Yeah, because it's very watery, feminine transmission type of energy. So when I'm going to the stage or to speak or anything, you know, teach, I will pick the stone that I feel I want to transmit that energy. Like I'll have, for example, rose quartz, big rose quartz. Wow. When I really want to work with the heart energy, for example, you know, or when I'm on the stage and working Goles i Kosmos, I have a huge clear quartz crystal and it's cut on many facets, and it's transmitting this light. Like when the stage lights hit it, it's transmitting this light back into the audience. And they also are protectors for me as well as I'm working. So I think our jewelry, you know, has a lot of symbolism. It can have a lot of symbolism, not just pretty dangly things, but actually it's what you resonate with. Like you might resonate with the moon, or you might resonate with the sun, or you might resonate with the earth, and different stones and different metals reflect different qualities. Like gold's a very high energy as a metal, you know, for example, you know. Diamonds, you know, very high energy, or even clear quartz, very high energy. Some are more transmitting more emotional frequencies. It's like, get to know this world, you know. There's some wonderful creative women jewelers now in Russia, Bali, etc., that are creating jewelry that is with intention.
Thank you so much. Thank you that you've been with us. Друзья, мы оставим все ссылочки на покупку билетов на концерты Перукуа и также на ее курс. Спасибо вам большое. Спасибо, Dragoslav. Absolutely amazing, your husband. Thank you so much that you are caring about and please take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for watching.